Brian Rotella, attorney, founder, and CEO of Senior Partner, Genco Legal, joins us now. Brian, you believe that AI is already transforming the legal profession. Do you do some, can you do some cases, trial cases? Do you ask for advice with like this chatbot GPT?
Well, hey, Brian. Right now what AI is doing is predominantly the stuff that our paralegals have done over the last 30 or 40 years, but also junior attorneys. It's reviewing documents, it's doing legal research, and it's finding things if you had a lawsuit or something in discovery instead of a human going through all this stuff. But Brian, we're like 36 months away from it actually making predictions, because it's already, the technology can do it, on legal outcomes. So you're going to decide whether to go to a trial based on potentially what the AI is saying. Even in the criminal space, it's going to start potentially giving recommendations on what the length of some types of sentencing can be. So what I've told folks is, we went literally, and I just heard the last guest talking about the technology in the legal profession. We've jumped from literally the Flintstones to we're going to be in the Jetsons in about 24 to 36 months here. And my industry, unlike healthcare, where I spend a lot of time, as you know, healthcare has been all over AI, and there's some amazing, really cool things going on. They're really prepared for it. The legal industry is completely unprepared. And the two things that concern me the most about it is how we're training our folks for AI, meaning in the law schools, and what the investment is these kids are getting in law schools. And the second thing is inherent bias. How are we preparing them for what is and what we're already seeing, some inherent bias in AI?
Because, we already seen it politically, but they say they're already on the fourth version of chatbot GBT or whatever it is. So now, for example, if you have to write a brief, will this write your brief for you? If you're in law school, will it do a lot of your papers?
Yeah, well, and here's the thing with law school. There's this, I call it the myth of the prepackaged lawyer. People have a perception people have a lot of perceptions of lawyers, and a lot of them are right on the bad side. But the perception is that someone comes out of law school and they can pretty much write a will, they could try a case. Brian, when you come out of law school, most people know what they can do, hopefully pass the bar exam. They teach you still the same things I learned 25 years ago in law school and people were learning 100 years ago in law school, is about how to read law cases and what were decisions. That's still how we're teaching people. My analogy right now is we're teaching people how to ride a stagecoach when we should be teaching them how to drive or to how to manage the process of an automated vehicle. So yes, this AI can write a brief. Now the question is, you still cannot outsource the legal judgment. So are we training our law students on what would be the legal judgment to look at that brief and make sure that that brief is accurate? And then getting back to the other point I said, if it's pulling, as your other guest said, from all of this language, and you look at like GPT-3, not to get too wonky here, but ChatGPT, this thing draws from a 500 billion words. Who's checking that? We should be training our law students and young lawyers, if they want to survive in this profession, is this accurate? Is this in the best interest of the client? And here's the other thing that I feel, and this doesn't happen in law schools, and quite frankly, it didn't happen when I was there either. My belief on how we're going to survive and thrive with AI as a tool, is by doing something that I think has been completely lost. I don't know if you agree, Brian, which is the ability to interact and the soft skills. The more we've gotten, the more technology we've gotten, I can see it all the time with communications with young lawyers and clients. They're not communicating with clients the way we did before technology, because let's face it, the last 20 years they've had their faces in screens as compared to learning how to build relationships with strangers, which is critical when you're trying to give somebody some challenging legal advice.
That's absolutely true. That's in every aspect of life. But I would say this. It just seems to me on a jury trial with 12 human beings, let's say, or a grand jury with 25 human beings, I'm just wondering, can you ever have AI effectively predict how these people interact and will come up with a verdict?
Yeah, I think it can get to the point where it's going to say these are the large percentages. But again, remember, then let's say that it's when you're trying cases, and I tried cases before, you're ultimately making a decision based on risk, whether there's AI or not. Should I settle the case? Is it 8 out of 10 times am I going to win? And again, if it's in the criminal space and your liberty is going to be taken away or your client's is, you're making your decision based on predictions. So I do think what AI is going to do is it's going to start telling the people, ultimately the lawyers, the risk managers, what do I have to explain to my client as far as the risk of what the outcome is going to be? But to the answer is AI, are we going to have C-3PO trying a case in the next 10 years? No, I don't see that happening. you're still going to have lawyers that are going to need to be trying cases. Here's the issue. It isn't really going to impact me. I've been practicing for, it's getting close to 25 years. But it took a lot of training to do what I do today, Brian. What are these young lawyers going to do if they're not getting trained on, let's say, how to try a case? Because all of the work that you learn, all those repetitions that you would do in looking at research, looking at documents, is being done by the AI. How are we going to train this generation? And use this analogy, it's like drones compared to fighter pilots. We're not going to have any fighter pilots because the law firms are going to be using the drones to do all of the work that we've been using more junior lawyers to do.
You know what I think too, Brian? I also think, look at GPS. I used to be great at directions. I used to break out a mapping for every place I went and saw everything and knew what north, south, I now don't even think. And it definitely hurt me. I lost my sense of direction. So I'm wondering what else I would lose with AI. But it'll be transformational, and we can't stop it. Bryan Rotella, thanks so much.